So the Punta del Este circuit around the beaches of Uruguay played host to the third round of this FIA Formula E Championship. It was Jean-Eric Vergne who started the race on pole position. And we also had some guest appearances from Eric Murillo up there playing with the Formula EJ. Lucas de Grassi was looking confident, but he would start in 6th place and end up finishing 3rd on the grid. Nelson Piquet Jr. was lining up 2nd, but on pole position, it was Jean-Eric Vergne after a really stunning performance in his debut qualifying run. But he was on the less grippy side at the start, and that allowed Nelson Piquet Jr. to launch through and take the lead of the race away from Jean-Eric Vergne. Look at the real wheels here, just spinning, 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 hardly getting any traction at all. And that allowed the Team China car to come past. Everyone was pretty well behaved through the first corner, has to be said. Good effort from all of those guys. And Daniel Abt, you can see how slow they were having to go. Almost got collected by Karun Chandhok. I'm not sure quite how they didn't make contact, but they didn't. Sam Bird's race was ended pretty early into the sausage curves, out of the race in his Virgin car. And that was a real shame because he'd had a difficult qualifying where he put it in the wall, and it was going to be even more difficult from then on. Jean-Eric Vergne then retook the lead of the race, up the inside of Nelson Piquet Jr., down into the hairpin, and that gave the Frenchman for Andretti the lead once more. Then Sébastien Buemi was on the attack, trying to get past Nelson Piquet Jr. They both missed the chicane. Piquet Jr. held the position. There was then a big spin for Stéphane Sarrazin, and Bruno Senna went into the wall as well after that. Before the pit stop window opened, Jean-Eric Vergne was one of the first men to come in and change cars. But just as he was out of the pits, the safety car was deployed because of that accident for Sarrazin. So that meant Heidfeld took the lead of the race, but he had used too much power and spent too little time in the pits, so he was soon given a drive-through penalty and sent down towards the back of the field. There he was, pulling in, and that gave Sébastien Buemi the lead of the race ahead of Vergne and Nelson Piquet Jr. Matty Brabham then spun at the same chicane that Sarrazin did and ended up in the wall. He was devastated with that incident, and that brought out the safety car once again for a final 2-lap dash. Matty Brabham distraught. But with Buemi leading the race and Jean-Eric Vergne behind him, Vergne was on the attack, forcing Buemi into mistakes. But in the end, there was a problem for the Andretti car. Not quite sure what it was just yet, but he had to pull over, which meant that Sébastien Buemi took victory in the 3rd round of the championship here in Uruguay. It was the top step of the podium for the Swiss, the first ever Formula E victory for Edams, and we've now had 3 winners in 3 races in FIA Formula E, as Sébastien Buemi took the top step of the podium.
It's been a very difficult journey so far because the first 2 races didn't go as expected, but today we did everything right, so I'm more than happy. I'm delighted for the team, for us, because it's been very difficult, and now we finally win our first race, so really happy.
And what happened at that chicane where you were trying to overtake Jean-Eric Vergne?
Yeah, basically I locked the rear wheel, so I had to cut the chicane. It wasn't really good, but I had to push very hard. He was very quick. But clearly I think we had a great strategy, and thanks a lot to the team.
And were you nervous that obviously he had the fan boost?
Yeah, I knew he had the fan boost, so he was going to use it. But at the end of the day, I don't know what happened to him. I don't know if he had an accident, but really happy with the result.
All right, thanks very much.
When the lightning strikes, let's stand together. When the moment